You've been a member of Chief Executive Boards for some time, is that right?
Quite a while. I can't even tell you how many years it's been. It had to have been, I don't know, over 10 at least, maybe even 12 years. So, yeah, a long time.
And what keeps you coming back?
I think there's a ton of value in this organization, and some of the things that I think are important, at least to me and my company, is that I get away on a regular basis through the local boards and then through the national summits. And it gives you time to get away from your business and actually be able to think about it instead of being caught in the day-to-day activities. So I think that's very, very important. Coupled with that, how often can you be sitting in a room with other business owners that have had the same kind of experiences you have or problems that they can share how they addressed it. So, I mean, a lot of this stuff you just can't get out of books.
You have a lot of sources of advice and outside counsel. What's different about getting advice from other business owners?
Business owners are practical. I mean, they live in the trenches and they experience this. I think there's a difference, and a tremendous difference actually, between people that have read about theory and can come in and say, well, I think you really ought to do this or you really ought to do that, versus the guy that said, man, I just got beat upside the head from this, and this is how I addressed it, or this is what you ought to look out for. I mean, experience is king in my estimation.
You find yourself learning then from other people's mistakes?
Absolutely. And I think over the course of time, I've shared some of my mistakes with other people that hopefully they're not going to do the same thing I did.
Yeah. Sometimes it's this perspective of other people. Have you had that experience when you bring something to a board and someone says, well, hey, maybe you should look at it a completely different way?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because they do look at things. I mean, we're all individuals. We all have our own reasons for being in business and how we think they ought to be run. And you're absolutely correct. I mean, I get ideas that I didn't even think of.
Can you connect or attribute any of the success in your business to your Chief Executive Board's experience?
Obviously, I keep coming back, so I must see some kind of value in this.
The things that happen at summits, how would you categorize those as being different from what you experience in, say, local board meetings?
I think one of the biggest differences, actually there's two big ones. One is you're physically away from your organization or your environment for an extended period of time. I find if I'm out of the office for 2 days now, it's like a week, which is kind of cool. And in addition to that, you now are interfacing with people from other parts of the country that they can share what their economic situations are, the business climates, what they see, what works, what doesn't work. And on top of that, over the years, I've just created a great list of friends, and it's cool to see them all the time.
If you were talking to somebody who was thinking about perhaps joining Chief Executive Boards, or maybe was casually interested, what kind of things would you tell them? What would you suggest to them as a reason they ought to go ahead and do that?
I think one of the things that I would stress is it's not a quick fix. I think it's just part of your total. It's continuing ed. Is another way to look at it. I mean, a lot of people that get in business and they just keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over, and then all of a sudden they're out of business, or they're waiting for the next thing to happen that gets them on the uptick. And I think the membership here has all been through quite a few of these cycles, and we all know that that's not the case. You have to identify it, address it, and execute. So from a long-term perspective, getting that kind of insight and knowledge, it takes time. If somebody's looking for this big home run that they sit down in a room for 4 hours and they go back and now their business is going to grow 400%, And I don't know, maybe there's been a couple that have done that, but even if they have, they've done it over time, and it's part of the whole philosophy of working on your business versus in it. You know, there's another thing we haven't mentioned that I get a lot of satisfaction out of, because I've had a lot of people that have helped me, you know, throughout my professional career, and these boards give me the ability to give back and actually help people and share my experiences. And the only thing I hope is that my experiences are meaningful to them and have value. But I think that's the other part of it. I think you feel good after you know that you've helped somebody.